Okay, today we're diving headfirst into something really unique, pretty unsettling actually. It's Tony Burgess's novel, Pontypool Changes Everything.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't just, another apocalypse story.
Not at all.
It's digging deep into how language kind of sculpts our reality.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, what happens when that fundamental thing just crumbles?
Yeah.
So for this deep dive, we're using excerpts straight from the novel itself. It's a really challenging read, honestly.
It definitely is.
Our mission really is to unpack it, to pull out the big ideas about communication, identity, what happens when words themselves turn dangerous.
It's a trip.
It really makes you question things.
And right at the core of it, there's this this enigma, a strange plague spreading through Ontario.
Right.
But it's not your typical virus. Not really physical, not purely mental either. It seems to target language itself.
How does that even work?
Well, the story shows us through different people, right? There's this cynical radio host, a drama teacher who's kind of haunted, even kids just trying to survive when the world's gone mad.
So it forces you to ask, what does it mean when the very words we use become our downfall?
Exactly. It's a terrifying thought.
Okay, let's unpack this then. This central thing, this virus or plague in Ontario. What makes it so different is where it comes from and the symptoms.
Right. It's not something you can see under a microscope. It's more existential.
Yeah.
And Dr. Ralph, he's a key voice in the novel analyzing this. He gives this chilling take. He says, it's not a normal illness.
Okay.
Instead, it gestates in the deep structures prior to language, or maybe simultaneous with language.
Wait, prior to language, what does that even mean?
Well, it suggests it's not just infecting the words after we think them, but maybe the very ability to form language, the groundwork.
Wow.
Or maybe the actual process of turning thoughts into words. It exists, he says, contrary to the way our rational minds comprehend.
So it breaks the tools we use to even understand it.
Basically, yeah. Which is why it's so disorienting.
So it's deeper than just like a stutter or getting grammar wrong. It's attacking consciousness itself.
That seems to be the idea, and the symptoms reflect that. At first, people get this thing that's mislabeled déjà vu.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, but here it's like the present moment feels like a glitch, an inescapable copy of itself. Reality stuttering.
Creepy.
Then comes this severe aphasia. The brain knows what it wants to say, but it jams. You might need a fork, desperately, but all that comes out is table.
Oh, man. Imagine trying to warn someone.
Right, and you just can't get the right words out. It's a unique kind of horror, almost impossible to articulate, ironically.
And does it stop there?
No, it gets worse, much worse. From that aphasia, it escalates into something chaotic, violent. Victims start showing Tourette-like symptoms.
Involuntary stuff.
Yeah, frantic movements, sounds. The book describes it as a desperate attempt to destroy their own normal behavior. Like they're fighting their own mind, trying to break out of this linguistic prison.
Jeez.
And the final stages, they're really gruesome. A frightening and painful type of madness that ends in cannibalism.
Cannibalism.
Right.
How does language lead to that?
The virus twists things so badly that somehow strangers' mouths become like an escape route. It's bizarre and awful. Often ends with victims choking, drowning on blood. It's the absolute opposite of communication.
The mouth, the thing we use to connect,
Yeah.
becomes the site of horror. That's, wow. And how does it spread? You mentioned Dr. Roth again.
Yeah, his theory on contagion is just as unsettling. He suggests people are catching it as they move into a dream state.
So like when you're falling asleep.
Exactly. That transition state, it implies the structure of consciousness itself is vulnerable then, like the system's defenses are down during a reboot.
That's terrifying. You're most vulnerable when you least expect it.
It's a critical point, isn't it? If that threshold, that fuzzy space between waking and sleep is the entry point.
Wow. So language is the host, communication is the delivery system.
Right. Which leads to huge questions, If our ability to use language, to share meaning, gets corrupted, what does that do to our identity? What's left of us when that internal narrative falls apart?
It's not just individual madness then. It's reality itself unraveling.
Precisely. It threatens the whole shared world we build with words.
And the novel really shows this through individual experiences. It's not just abstract theory. Let's shift to those personal journeys. We meet these characters dealing with this linguistic nightmare in their own ways.
Yeah. Their stories make it visceral.
Okay, first, Les Reardon. His life was kind of messy even before the plague hit, right?
Yeah.
Former sanitation worker, then a drama teacher.
Right, and he was already perceiving this war in Ontario before the virus was widely known.
A war, like a real war.
For him, it seemed more like a mental breakdown, an internal war first. He had these incredibly disturbing visions. Body bags hidden in people's garbage, dogs, licking the entrails of orphaned children, really dark stuff.
So he was already kind of disconnected.
It seems that way. His breakdown is sort of a prelude to the bigger collapse. His wife, Helen, left him when he became a drama teacher, pregnant with their son. Yeah. And we follow Les on this brutal journey. He has a violent run-in with a hunter. He's desperately searching for Helen and their son, who he renames Ernie.
Renames him Ernie. That's strangely gentle amidst the horror.
It is. He's also using Diloted, a strong painkiller, to cope. Just trying to survive as everything falls apart, becoming this hardened survivalist.
How does the story end?
Tragically, Dr. Mendez finds his body later. His lungs are filled with cinders, but his hands are positioned like he was holding something gentle, just a little space.
Wow. Hold on to something small and human at the very end. That's powerful.
It really is a poignant image.
Okay, then there's Ellen Peterson. She's the Reeve, like a local official, in Pontypool. Her story is fascinatingly different.
Yeah, Ellen's experience is unique. She has strokes, actual physical strokes, that strangely mimic the aphasia from the virus.
So her own body is almost pre-adapting.
Kind of. The book says her mind develops these seals and machines to cope with her broken language and memory, and this lets her process future images, often glimpses of murder.
Future images. Okay, that's weird.
It gets weirder. Her interaction with the zombies is extraordinary. She doesn't fight them like everyone else.
What does she do?
She seems to develop this strange kind of jurisdiction over a group of them in a carp pond.
Jurisdiction. Like she's in charge.
In a way. They gather in the water, speaking this broken language, a tiny lexicon from Parkvale, repeating, "Helen, help! Hello!"
Haunting.
And Ellen, she actually communicates with them, tries to coach them somehow. She acknowledges their strokes, their suffering.
She sees them as suffering, not just monsters.
Exactly. Her own fragmented state seems to give her this different perspective, maybe even empathy. She sees the brokenness in them that mirrors her own, perhaps.
That's a huge contrast to the usual zombie narrative, isn't it? Finding connection instead of just conflict. Makes you think.
It really does. Maybe our intact minds miss something.
Okay, let's move to the city. Grant Mazzy, radio host, also worked a crisis hotline in Parkdale.
Right, Grant. He's initially pretty cynical, that shock jock type, maybe, but he's dedicated. He really tries to understand the plague, to help people through his broadcasts. He's the voice trying to make sense of it all.
Does he make it?
No. Despite being smart, trying to navigate it, he becomes a victim.
Oh, no. Oh.
He runs into two children, Julie and Jimmy, and they've become cannibals.
The kids? Oh, God.
Yeah, it's brutal. They attack him. His knee is cleaved with a hatchet, his intestines. It's graphic. They drop his own hand into his torso.
Jesus. That's incredibly bleak.
It really underscores the indiscriminateness of it all. Being smart or trying to help doesn't save you. Heroism is meaningless here.
In Julie and Jimmy.
Yeah.
The cannibal kids. That's got to be one of the darkest parts.
Absolutely. Their story is grim. They become these active cannibals, really resourceful in a terrifying way, ambushing zombies for food.
How do they cope psychologically?
Well, Jimmy becomes mostly mute from the trauma. Julie takes charge, driven by this chilling, primal need to survive.
And their story gets even worse, doesn't it?
It culminates in something truly disturbing. Julie gets pregnant. The text heavily implies incest with Jimmy.
Oh, my God.
Mentioning how babies from siblings are often weak. But this baby, it's the opposite.
What happened?
The birth is horrific. The baby literally springs to its feet immediately, screams, "Fuck you," as its first words.
It's the first words.
Yeah. Twists the umbilical cord into its own mouth, breaks Julie's hips trying to get free, and then runs off to snatch Les Reardon's baby.
That is beyond comprehension.
Yeah.
Generational horror, like baked in from birth.
Exactly. It suggests a future that's not just broken, but fundamentally corrupted. No innocence, no hope, just immediate violence. It's a devastating statement.
Like the infection isn't just linguistic, it's existential now, passed down.
It speaks to a complete breakdown. New life isn't a new start, just a continuation of the horror. The future is born monstrous.
So the virus isn't just destroying individuals, it's tearing apart society itself across Ontario.
Completely. What starts weirdly localized just explodes.
Right.
The province becomes this pre-production monstrosity of mumbling cannibal zombies.
And the authorities.
Military.
They try to intervene, but they're vulnerable too. Any soldier who stammers or struggles with words gets instantly quarantined. Massive paranoia.
Understandable, I guess.
The landscape is just chaos. Constant automatic weapon fire. American helicopters are seen strafing fields. A desperate, failing attempt at control. Meaning is gone. Only violence is left.
And the book throws in these moments of just dark absurdity.
Oh, yeah. It's chilling, but almost darkly funny sometimes. Pollsters getting killed by zombie respondents. Yep. A school teacher turns into a predator overnight. Soldiers hold these sick contests, shooting near zombies to make them dance.
That's horrific.
The Don Valley gets sprayed with molten plastic. The Toronto Islands get carpet bombed. The attempts to fix things are as insane as the plague itself.
It paints this picture of total breakdown, not just scary,
Yeah.
but grotesquely absurd. It really underscores how fragile normal life is. When language goes, logic, empathy, they seem to go too. Trying to impose order on that chaos just creates more horror.
It's pure pandemonium. Okay, let's shift focus a bit. To the author himself, Tony Burgess. He wrote an afterword that's pretty unusual.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's like he steps outside the book to comment on it, almost critique it himself. Very self-aware.
What does he say?
He calls the book literary malformations. Admits he had a lower regard for this infuriating book than myself when adapting it into the movie. Like, he was almost embarrassed by it.
Wow.
He says he wrote it instead of a first novel, or in case he ever wrote one. And he even suggests, kind of provocatively, that it might be a mistake that you did read it.
That's not something you usually hear from an author about their own work. He writes, every line is always awful. What's going on there?
It's fascinating, right? He seems to be highlighting that messy, uncertain process of writing where meaning feels slippery compared to the definite collaborative nature of making a film.
Yeah.
He actually praises the actors in the film for taking his claw marks across the page and making it a thing. Says they really had no idea what was coming, but they brought it to life.
So the text is unstable, but performance makes it solid.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And this whole meta-commentary, his own struggle with the text, with meaning, it perfectly mirrors the novel's theme of language breaking down, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a really good point. His uncertainty reflects the character's uncertainty with words.
Exactly. It creates this feedback loop. The story is about language falling apart, and the author feels his own language, his own creation, is maybe flawed, unstable. The whole thing becomes a meditation on how slippery meaning really is.
What a ride. A world where language is literally the battlefield. Pontypool changes everything. It just forces you, doesn't it, to think about how much we rely on words.
Absolutely. How our reality, our sense of self, connection, it's all tied up in language. And the book shows this terrifying void when words fail, or worse, when they turn on you.
It's more than just a zombie story with a twist.
Oh, much more. It's a deep thought experiment, really, about communication, consciousness, what makes us individuals, and seeing how different characters cope.
Right. Les with his drugs and survival quest.
Ellen's strange connection with the infected.
Even Grant trying to broadcast order into chaos.
It shows this whole spectrum of human reaction, from adaptation
That's
to
right.
just total collapse.
And maybe the scariest horror isn't flesh-eating monsters, but just meaning itself unraveling, leaving you isolated, terrified, in a world that literally makes no sense anymore.
It's that internal breakdown that's truly chilling.
Yeah.
So, thinking about all this, here's a question for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. If words turned against you, if meaning started to crumble all around, what would be the last truth, the absolute last idea or feeling you'd try to hold on to?
That's a heavy one. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the very strange, very unsettling, but definitely thought-provoking world of Pontypool changes everything.
Yeah, hope it gave you food for thought.
Hopefully it gave you plenty to think about. And maybe, just maybe, a new appreciation for the simple yet incredibly complex act of talking.